we're down here in Volusia. It's very important. First thing you do is represent yourself well.
I guess I came to school just to work on a race car with a couple other guys, and it's blown up to something way bigger than I think any of us expected.
Your family well.
I had so much fun. I can't think of another time I've had that much fun. And learned at the same time, so that's good.
And the University of Northwestern Ohio.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
So I want you to work hard for the teams you're working for.
Overall, I guess I just kind of learned a lot about, I guess, how we as humans interact.
Hopefully we have success down here.
We learn, I would think, as much as what we learned in a whole 6-week class time here. Just, you're always constantly working on trying to get the car better. When you're not at the track, you're thinking how to get the car better for when you get to the track. Everybody bounces ideas off of each other. We worked, even though we had 4 cars, we worked as a big team. And when you're in class, you have those 5 hours every night that you're in class, and then you go home and kind of do your own thing. We're down in Volusia. We were constantly thinking about the race cars almost all the time.
Apply the knowledge you've learned and do the best you can. That's what I ask from you. Listen to your coach, Coach Egan's, listen to the drivers, and we ought to have a great, successful time, okay? All right, let's get in here. Let's just say go and have a good one. Ready? Go!
Just rerouting some of the spark plug wires, making them fit better. We didn't really like how they're routed. They're too close to the motor. They might get a little too hot.
The students are top of the line. We had to pick them to be on the team, so they didn't get picked by accident. They got picked because they were the best. So it was a really professional environment down there. They cared and they had a passion for what they were doing, which really reflected in how good of a job they did while they were working on the teams.
We had 13 students that went down and participated on the team down there. There was myself. I was driving one of the semis, hauling 2 of the race cars in it, along with a couple students riding with me. Andy O'Neill, one of the deans of the College of Technologies, drove the van with, I believe he had 11 people in it going down. There was 2 other semis traveling down. One of the semis was hauling 2 cars that we were going to compete with down there. And then our other semi with the admissions mobile learning lab with its display vehicle and equipment in it as well. So we had quite a caravan of people going down.
Something I'd like to forget about Volusia, in a way, is probably the car ride, because that was a lot of guys and we ate food constantly and it wasn't exactly the most enjoyable ride at all times.
It wasn't terrible, but just one of those things. For the most part, it was pretty cramped. I was driving, so I wasn't. That's one of the reasons why I like to drive, because I didn't have to sit back there with those guys.
Something other than that is we had a problem with one of the guys' toilets overflowing and flooding the hotel. I'm pretty sure I'll forget that one day.
The engine's not warming up like we should. We got it blocked off. Just make sure we need to get that up to like 160 degrees before we go out. It's going to cool off the later the night goes on, so keep that plugged in. And you're going to take care of making sure the helmet's ready to go, and make sure that bird cage on the back doesn't bind up. We'll keep that bolt loose, and then after we want a heat race, we're going to take the top 3. So if we make the top 3, I need at least a couple of you over there to get me up onto the scales, guide me on. Make sure we make weight, see how much the car weighs so that I know when we come in. So if we have to add more fuel before the feature to make sure we're not underweight. So after our 8-lap heat race, we want to calculate that and make sure that after 20, we're not going to get, caught illegal.
I sort of had an idea that, gee, our students are down here pit crewing on NASCAR and ARCA pit crews at the big track. Why not be down here at the same time, pit crewing and working on cars at the dirt track?
So I came up with a concept that we'll build a few cars, the students build them ground up, crew them. We go down to Volusia, they race on the dirt track just like the big track. And thus the Volusia program was created, and our students go down and compete at Volusia during speed weeks at NASCAR Daytona International Speedway at the same time. A challenge of an opportunity like Volusia, from my perspective, is you have obviously a lot of expense involved in a project like that or a program like that. But that's one thing. But probably the main thing is you worry about everybody being safe. I mean, travel. You're traveling from Ohio to Florida. You're at a race venue where anything can happen in the pits. Our kids are all in the pits. So that's at the big track with NASCAR rigs rolling by you and cars. And that's at Volusia with all the cars there rolling by you. So your head has to be on a swivel. These kids are all taught this and trained and preached to about keep your head on a swivel. But from my perspective, probably the biggest thing to worry about is that everybody's safe and healthy. I mean, remember, you are in a live racing venue and anything can happen. So my concern would be anything health-wise happening anymore. Other than that, the rest of it, hey, let's go down the road and race, so we're good.
On race day and every day, wear the tool that fits like a glove. Available at auto parts stores, Lowe's stores, and online at mechanics.com.
Motorsports U is brought to you by Bristol Motor Speedway. Race it the way it ought to be. K&N Performance Filters, the world's best air filter. And by Cobb Cams, engineered to finish first.
Okay, White, we went out to Daytona International Speedway today. How'd it go out there?
It went pretty good. Mr. Farmer got me hooked up with Bill Petrini, working on his number 15 car. I worked with them all day and it went pretty good. They had me doing more than I thought they would actually let me do on the first day, which I thought was pretty cool. Stayed busy and I had a good time with them.
I definitely recall pulling Wyatt in at Volusia and talking about his job.
Mr. Farmer and Doug Jarvis pulled me into the trailer. Wondering what was going on in my mind. I mean, I didn't know if I did something wrong or what, because normally they really don't talk to you unless you did something you shouldn't have.
Am I in trouble? Yeah. It's what they think anytime I'm around it. You know, they think, oh goodness, what's going to happen, but it's not the case. I'll tell you when they have to worry. They have to worry when they get called to my office. That's when it's not good news. Why are you doing double duty? Why are you back out here tonight?
Well, first I had to come in with the student stock car team, which you guys gave me the opportunity to come to Volusia for 2 weeks.